What's happening? What's happening?
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Happy Saturday to everybody.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
For the people that was looking out for us, sorry we're a little late. We were still in Minnesota. You know,
Yeah.
for those that get it, we were still in Minnesota. So, but we here now.
Yeah, man. Let's get it. Let's be real, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Another episode. I'm not the One Piece Shark, unfortunately. That is my guy. Out due to sickness, man. Get well safely. But apparently, as you see on the screen, we got Kyrie Irving back with us.
Wow.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the homie Kyrie.
I am a walking bucket, so I take it.
That was too easy. That was too easy for you to let that go. What a pass.
Right.
That's what I do for my homies, man. That's what I do for my homies, bro. But speaking of which, man, I don't know how we want to start this. I can just call them out. It's time for us to give our NBA playoff predictions, unless you've been sleeping on the rock, which I'm sure most of y'all haven't been. We got the playoff series going, man. Let's go and get them Grizzlies out the way. Who, you know what I'm saying? Lito said we still in Minnesota, I guess. But what's our thoughts? Let's start with Lito, Trev, and then Savage.
On the Timberwolves and Grizzlies
Timberwolves, yeah, just a quick 2-minute, man. Get your opinion on everything that's going, your predictions.
Yeah, I think we're looking at gentleman sweep. If not in 5, then definitely in 6. I think Minnesota came out with some hands in game 1. Definitely took a solid, performance by them to take game 1 in Memphis. But the Grizzlies came back and swung back really hard. I was at the game on Tuesday with my pops, and Grizzlies did what they have to do. Game 3, we were just talking about it, right before we went on air. Minnesota was, in my opinion, bullying the Grizzlies, bullying them for more than 3.5 quarters, really, if you think about it. And then, I'm watching the game with Savage. I leave, to go do dad stuff. I said, no, let me go ahead and put my daughter down. It's about a wrap. And then after that, the Grizzlies went on an amazing run, 21-0 run. They closed them out, and not even just like one at the buzzer or one like off of 1 or 2 possessions, like comfortably beat them to end game 3. And I just think that, like, I think as young as Minnesota is, that's taking something, right? I mean, that's being Debo. Like to take a game like that at home, the game was in hand, and you just the other team comes back and beat you. I think that's hard for Minnesota to come back from. So therefore, I'm saying I think this is over really, really soon. I'll say that.
I said on starting 5, it was going to be over in 6. I'm going to be honest with you. This joint is over in 5. A team like Minnesota that's quote unquote young and your best player that's been in the league 7 years doesn't even seem demoralized about giving up not 1, but 2 25-point leads in the same game and ended up losing comfortably to the Grizzlies. Yeah, this series is over. I don't know what else to say. It's a good resiliency by the Grizzlies, obviously, in this game, but Minnesota is just demoralized. And then I can't see Minnesota taking 2 out of the next 3 in Memphis if this series was to even go 7. I just can't see Minnesota winning 2 out of 3 in Memphis. This series is over. Gentleman sweep, possibly. I said 6, so if it goes 6, cool, but there's really nothing much else to say here. This series is done.
Yeah, man. When I watched game 1, the Timberwolves were just hitting shots that made no sense. It was like, okay, we just throwing up shots and they going in. Like Anthony Edwards, like, he legit. Like Anthony Edwards is legit. But like some of those shots, it was hand and face, like at all times. And I knew it wasn't sustainable. If y'all don't follow Shot Quality on Twitter, they will literally show you that the Grizzlies should have won all 3 of those games 90% of the time based on the shots taken along with like the contests and where they are percentage-wise on the court as far as like how they shoot or how well they shoot. Yeah. And so game 3, just to kind of go into that real quick, me and Scott watched that game and it was just demoralizing. It was like, what are we doing? We're not playing defense. We turning the ball over. Ja looked kind of gimpy. Jaren not doing anything on offense. And then for them to turn it around, I just put my hands up and be like, you know what? I wouldn't be mad at anybody who tweeted anything during that day because it was like, what can you say? They were down almost 30 points at one point. Like, you're supposed to be mad and upset based on how they play because we've seen them all year. So for them to turn around and to G-snatch the win from the Timberwolves, I mean,
what a word.
I was just about to be a G-snatch. I like it.
So long.
They took it from the Timberwolves, and I like the Timberwolves. If they need to win a game, it's game 4. If they don't win game 4, you are not making it out of game 5 alive on Tuesday. You just not, because I would not want to come into the FedEx Forum down 3-1. You better just pack it up and go home. Period. So yeah, it's over at 5. I said Grizz in 5. I didn't think it'll be like this, but I'll take Grizz in 5 and go on with it.
Man, I honestly said Grizz in 6 on starting 5 because I felt like D'Angelo Russell, you know, he had a bad couple games, and game 3 was his game to do his thing, which he did, and the Grizz still overcame. So I still go game 6 just because anything can happen for next game. We see how the refs are calling. We see, you know, Coach Jenkins, who, in my opinion, overthought the situation, even though people still think that Steven Adams is not doing what he's supposed to this series. It's not making an effect this series. I think that you do have to start off being physical with this kind of Timberwolves team, and that's why they got off to that big run. Like, let's not change what got us here. That was my big issue with the game, with not starting Adams, because you do need that physicality on defense. That's literally the only way we'll lose. But the Grizzlies turned up, especially in the fourth quarter, and did what needed to be done with that one. So yeah, if the Timberwolves don't win game 4, it's a wrap for them for sure.
Yeah, and as much as I love Steven Adams, it's not a fit for him to play in the series, because the Timberwolves literally just play 5 out and run screen and roll with Karl Anthony Towns. And he's either going to, if he has a mismatch where he can take advantage in the post, he's either going to go in the post or he's going to shoot a 3. That's literally all the Timberwolves are going to do. So you sticking Steven Adams out there, you saw what happened in game 1. Like, 9 times out of 10, he found himself out on the island, and Anthony Edwards was just cooking, and everybody else got to go.
True, but in a game 2, we got him in foul trouble.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of
that game was just terribly officiated in that first quarter. True. That first quarter took like 2 hours.
That's true.
First quarter took like 2 hours. That game was horribly officiated. Granted, the Grizzlies won comfortably. That game was just, what up, Ryan? That game was terribly officiated. And then game 3, I felt like game 3, and I'll say this real quick and we can move on. I think game 3 was Minnesota's best shot. I think Minnesota. I think Minnesota hit us with their best shot, and for them to come out on the losing end of this game, I just feel this series is done.
That game 3 let me know that they have no dog in them at all, because there is no way the Grizzlies, at least as currently constructed, would have taken a 25-point lead twice and lose it. No way.
What you saying, that's savage. We definitely got to move on, but I want to end on this, bro. I don't know if y'all saw Kendrick Perkins use one of our commandments of, if they show us who you are, believe them. He said that Jimmy Butler said that about the Timberwolves. I don't know if that was to y'all attention or not. I promise y'all he said that. I was like, bro,
I missed it.
They checking us out. I sent it to you, but boy, when I tell y'all, my eyes lit up, bro. I was so proud of us, bro, in that moment. So let's move on to another series that's, I know for sure, over, and it's karma coming to me, because now we're gonna end up seeing the Golden State Warriors and Memphis semifinals. So we'll cross the road when we get there. Gentlemen, what's your thoughts about the Warriors and Denver series?
Yeah, you can go and pack this one up, big dog. It's a wrap. Jordan Poole, it's hard not to mention him. Granted, Steph is doing well, but what Jordan Poole has been able to do, not only in the regular season, but again, being able to do that in the postseason, which is what Draymond talked about. Like, I think that's been the most impressive part to me. Yeah, granted, I knew who Denver was. We knew who Jokic was, but I think we all knew that, in my opinion, they didn't have much of a shot. With Junior being out, with Jamal Murray being out, even them being there, I still don't think it would have been enough to beat the Warriors. I've said many times, this version of the Golden State Warriors we've seen several times. So going back to what you just said, too, like when somebody shows you who they are, then believe them. We've seen the Warriors click before in the postseason, and so we're starting to see that now. But we're starting to see that now more with, like, your Jordan Pooles, Draymond's playing at a crazy level. Klay Thompson's he's getting his legs back, and Steph Curry, he's just not recently gone off. So this is a wrap. Sorry for Jokic, but yeah, you can go and pack it up and go.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic for pretty much the second season in a row is finding out handedly what happens in the playoffs where teams scheme against you. And it's pretty much reared its ugly head, and it's looking like they're about to be packed up and going home again with another sweep. And it just goes to show you that you can't. They miss Jamal Murray and Jr. badly because you can't initiate your entire offense through Nikola Jokic. Like if the ball is not in Nikola Jokic's hands, you might as well pack it up for Denver on the offensive end. You might as well just give it up. We've said what we said about the Warriors time and time again. So it's no surprise they're getting healthy. Jordan Poole is just, had an amazing jump this season. So for this series, you might as well just go and pack it up. The Warriors are moving on.
Yeah, the Warriors have the fortune of being able to have a veteran team and then having a young team right underneath them. I don't know if that's ever been done in the history of NBA, but they have both. They have like the Grizzlies and the Warriors at the same time. It's kind of scary. As far as the Nuggets and Jokic, one, I don't get the slander for Jokic right now. Like, because the dude doing all that he can. Like, what do you want him to do with that Rant Campazzo back at point guard they get? The other guy, Bones, like, come on. Like, he ain't got Murray. He don't have Michael Porter Jr. Now, granted, I think the result would have been the same, regardless if they had the players or not. But for the slander to come I'm assuming the MVP, either him or Embiid, I don't understand it because he's still putting up 30, 11, and 8. Like, I don't get it. And to Ryan's point, Aaron Gordon is terrible. I don't know why they even traded for him in the first place. That was a dumb trade even back then, in my opinion. But yeah. I had Warriors in 7, but I think it'll probably be like 5 because they'll probably get one game, go back to Golden State and get a win there. But it's the Nuggets are at a crossroads, in my opinion, because it's like, does Murray come back as he was in the bubble? And what we saw from the bubble was like a whole different,
it's
universe.
A lot of people that's different in the bubble.
It's a whole different universe. I don't know. I don't know if he'll come back, Jamal Murray, and be the same like true scoring point guard. So I mean, we'll see.
Cool. With the Aaron Gordon thing, I agree that he can't be a second player, but I was on the boat that said when the trade happened that was one of the better trades, but I imagine the Nuggets playing at full strength. So, yeah, they're not at full strength. Aaron Gordon definitely can't be a best player, but he can definitely be effective, just not in this series. And the Nuggets do need, Jamal Murray and Jr. to come back at full strength for them to be, the best thing that they can be. As far as the Warriors go, my biggest thing coming into this series was chemistry. Like I explained it on I think it was Starting Five or Let's Be Real. Like the body language, the nonverbal communication that I like to pick up on when watching basketball games. That's what I was watching when I was watching the Warriors. Like it was like they just was just shooting just to be shooting in a way. But now that chemistry is going, and now that we're seeing truly the unselfishness of the Warriors basketball. It's like Steph came, he came back off an injury. So we trying to test him out and see, how you doing off the bench, but it's like, it's working. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect Jordan Poole to start, but if he continues to start over Steph Curry, it's because of, Steph Curry's unselfishness, and the Warriors know that the best way for them to win is to get Jordan Poole going, because last year we kind of got a glimpse of what Jordan Poole can be, which is a baller, but, the Warriors didn't have a great team, and now they do have a better team. They're running offenses to him. He's trying to get paid as well. I think that, him averaging 28 to 29, what he's doing right now is pretty special, and we'll talk more about that. Or I will later on in Flowers as well. Let's go into a series that it's time to blow up a team, I guess, if you want to talk of anything with the Dallas and Utah Jazz. Gentlemen, give me your thoughts on the Luka-less Dallas Mavericks beating the Jazz.
I think if nothing else, impressive, and I think Jason Kidd deserves a round of applause for him leading this team, as well as Jalen Brunson too, to beat the Jazz in the fashion that they're beating. Now, granted, most of the games have been relatively close, but I think, again, that still speaks volume to what Jason Kidd and Jalen Brunson have been doing to still, ink those games out at the end of those games and come out victorious. I think speaks volume and well to them. I'm not sure if you guys just got the Bleacher Report story that I got, but there have been New York Knicks executives sitting courtside or very close to the court in Utah. Take that with what you will, but I'm not sure why the Utah Jazz are mad. You should be winning games. I'm sorry. You should be winning games. Therefore, you aren't. So therefore, you have another team sitting courtside at your games. That's on you. But yeah, this is a wrap. Even and I think again, it's impressive without Luka.
Man, this whole thing that I planted months ago, I'm just so happy it's sprouting roots and it's about to show become a whole plant, because I did mention that Donovan Mitchell was not happy in Utah, and I said don't be surprised if you find that man in New York City within the next few months or whatever. But if you're talking, we just said the same thing with the Timberwolves. If there's a game that they have to win, Utah better win game 4. Because if you lose game 4, we still don't know the status of Luka. Luka could be coming back in time for game 5 if the series goes. I mean, if it goes 5 games, but it will go 5 games. Excuse me. But you got to win this game, and I've never seen a team just like completely implode the way that Utah is doing. I watched portions of game 3, and Dallas had a double-digit lead, and throughout that game, Donovan Mitchell hit big shot, big shot, big shot. But the whole time, I'm like, it's not really leaving an impact. Like, Dallas is still, for every shot Donovan Mitchell hit, Dallas came right down the floor and matched it. Matched them shot for shot, which, eventually propelled them to the win in Utah. Yeah, something's got to be done. I don't expect Gobert to be back. I don't expect Mitchell to be back. It's time to hit the reset button in Utah. They are already looking to hit the reset button because they're changing their uniforms now to black and yellow once again. But yeah. So but kudos to the Mavs for doing their thing. And to Skylar's point, you got to give some props and some shout out to Jason Kidd for what he has done to rally these troops. So kudos to the Mavs. Looks like they're gonna win this series.
Yeah, I picked the Mavs in 7, and that was even without Luka, because I feel like the Jazz, I mean, once a team is at the point where it's like clearly this is the last go around with that team, players, they don't play as hard. I just feel that way, because I know Donovan Mitchell is pissed. He tired of Rudy Gobert. Like it's so obvious that he's tired, and even Rudy Gobert, he's tired of Donovan Mitchell. And like you said, Trevor, I think they both are gone either way. Like, Gobert's gonna be gone somewhere else, because I mean he's unplayable in the playoffs. Literally, you cannot play him in the playoffs. And then Donovan Mitchell, I think he just want to get out anyway. So I think both of them will be gone. But I had the Mavs winning regardless whether Luka was going to play or not, because I feel like the Mavs are a more cohesive team. They're the most playoff built team compared between two teams. Even without Luka Doncic, I mean, you still got one of the best point guard minds in Jason Kidd, who can probably get everybody in their right spots in the first place. So I'm not surprised. I didn't even know they would change the uniforms, Trevor. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was leaked, I believe, on Friday. If I could find a tweet, I'll put in the group B later.
Okay.
I do some searching. Okay. But yeah, they're literally changing their colors back to like white, black, and yellow, and the uniforms look terrible. They look.
I was like, I ain't know they even had black in their uniforms back
then. Oh man, I y'all not watching Winning Time. I can't make the joke, so
I ain't there yet. I'm on episode 4 or 5, I think. So I got to get there.
Yep, no, I'll catch up, brother.
I was like, because it's a joke that's on Winning Time. That's hilarious, but okay. I can't make it because y'all ain't watching it. So
okay, yeah, but yeah, I had Mavs in 7, but I think that'd be done about 6.
Yeah, I had the Jazz in 7 as too, and what it sounded like is that the Jazz are going through a whole rebuilding phase because it's time to rebuild. I mean, we're clearly seeing a Jazz team that don't like each other, like y'all said it. We can clearly see it. Donovan Mitchell's ready to get out. It's just the heart of this team. Like, there is no heart to play, and to have Jalen Brunson, who's a baller for sure, but the fact that he's averaging 30 points on y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy to see the Jazz. And then to Ryan's point, like, Rudy's still doing the same thing from last year. I mean, I guess that's just the topic of this episode is like, if they show us who you are, then that's the thing. That's who you are, and we're gonna keep it moving with that one.
Now, I will say this, because yeah, Ryan is right about Rudy Gobert, but to be devil's advocate here, the perimeter players ain't doing their job either because they getting beat up
That's
to
yeah.
dribble like
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, and that's been the Jazz's MO like for the past several years. That's why they've never. That's why they've never just made like a true playoff like run to me, because in the playoffs, like they've just gotten exposed over and over and over by like wing players. And so you're seeing that to what Trevor just said. Like you're seeing that Utah can't play defense. They cannot play defense at all.
You would think with a team like they got Mike Conley, they got a Donovan Mitchell would be able to play better defense, right?
I guess, but you also got Rudy Gobert.
Maybe Mike Conley, but I heard too much of Donovan Mitchell sitting down in a chair. That's true. That's supposed to be
Gobert. Actually got on. He didn't get on Mitchell, but he was saying how he appreciates that Devin Booker plays defense at the beginning of the season. And you can look at the numbers. They show, I think, Booker's field goal percentage against, and then Mitchell's. It was like night and day. It was like, oh snap, Booker playing defense, and Mitchell ain't looking too good, man.
Yeah.
Let's round up this Western Conference series with Phoenix and New Orleans. Phoenix up 2-1, but I would, like you just brought up Devin Booker there. Without Devin Booker for the next 2 weeks, what y'all expect from this series?
I think it's a little bit more intriguing now that Devin Booker is out. Now, granted, if Chris Paul is going to continue to do what he did last night and torch the Pelicans the way that he did and be Mr. Clutch, and he stays healthy, then I think this series is over with. The Pelicans are still young. I think they're still trying to figure out exactly what they want to be offensively and defensively. And so I think just because of that, and I think at the end of the day, Phoenix can still defend with Bridges, with that whole lineup, and JaVale McGee is randomly giving them really, really good minutes. Savage's boy DeAndre Ayton, he played pretty well last night as well too. So I think even though they're still missing Devin Booker, I think they'll still be able to pull this one out.
This one went from a guaranteed sweep to now Phoenix wins the series in 6. Yeah, Devin Booker going out just made things a tad bit more interesting, but I just don't expect New Orleans just all out of the wedlock just to just go up and just like take this series over. As long as Chris Paul is on the court and he's 100% fully healthy, I don't have any issues with Phoenix closing out this series in 6. I think New Orleans wins game 4 just to come out, play for pride and things of that nature. They'll get game 4 possibly, and then Phoenix just wins the next 2 and closes it out. They're still very complete without Devin Booker, with Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, who's pretty good defensively, JaVale McGee giving them good minutes, DeAndre Ayton, who's been playing pretty well. So I just don't see New Orleans is not there yet. They're still trying to figure out an identity for themselves. So like I said, this went from a guaranteed sweep to now 6 games. So Phoenix takes care of business in 6.
Yeah, I had Phoenix sweeping them as well, but that Booker injury kind of threw some things off. But yeah, I think the Suns are pretty much comfortable. Chris Paul is amazing. I mean, I think we all know that by now. But the Pelicans, if they would have won game 3, I would have said, go ahead and bring out Zion just to see, just to make sure that everything's good. But now I'm like, go ahead, chill, just sit them down. Now, if they win game 4 and game 5, I still bring Zion for game 6, but they're not gonna win game 4, game 5 because they'll be done in about the next 2 games. I feel it ain't nothing but par for the course. Suns gonna take care of business. I think it'll be pretty quick.
Yeah, I believe so too. If anything, your boy Ayton, it's his time to shine. If he think he's worth every dollar that he's gonna be the man of this summer, this is your time to prove that you're worth every dollar. So, I think he's gonna be continue to be great this series. Chris Paul back in New Orleans, so he wants to continue to put on the show as well. So, I do expect. I had a sweep just like the rest of y'all. Give me New Orleans 6 games, I guess, at the most. Time to go to the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about these Bucks and Chicago Bulls. Let me see. Yep, Bucks and Chicago Bulls. I actually had the Bucks sweeping the Bulls, but they did their thing. However, they won one game. But what's y'all take on the Bucks and the Bulls?
I had Bucks in 5, I believe. I'm not sure. I remember, but if we picked the complete series or not for this one, but I got Bucks in 5. I think game 3 was really showing to me. I think after stealing game 2 in Milwaukee, you would think Chicago would come home and look to play with a sense of urgency to kind of grab control of this series, and they just completely laid an egg. Like they were down 35 at one point to the Bucks, and the Bucks just didn't look back. So I expect the Bucks to wrap things up in 5. They're looking like the NBA champions that they are. Mm-hmm. Chicago is Chicago. They're good, but you're now starting to see what a lot of media people have been saying about DeMar DeRozan, about how he tends to kind of freeze a little bit in the playoffs. Not saying he hasn't been playing well, but it's just like he's doing all that he can and it's not getting them over the hump. I think this would have been a completely different series if Chicago had been fully healthy. Maybe if Lonzo was out there or something of that nature. But I don't know with this Bulls team, man, against the Bucks. So give me Bucks. Bucks are going to finish this off in 5.
Yeah. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, Bucks finishing this off in 5. But I think the bigger question for me is like, where is Zach LaVine? I watched a couple of these games, and I think there were reports that he's dealing with some type of injury. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think, if you're gonna play, then you're gonna play, and I need to see something. And I think for the level of respect that we give Zach LaVine in the regular season, then I kind of want to see some form of that in the playoffs, and I hadn't seen that. So I think for me, that's been the story of the game. Granted, we know what Giannis is, we know how damn near unguardable he is. And Jrue Holiday is still, one of the top defenders in the league. And Milwaukee's playing their type of ball. And so hopefully they continue to play well until Middleton gets back. But for me, it's just like, what is Zach LaVine doing? Like he chilling. Like, my boy AC Caruso damn near like looks much better than Zach LaVine does right now. And so for me, that's the story of the series. And so, which I was already said, like, this is over really quickly.
Yeah, real quickly. Isn't this Zach LaVine's first go round in the playoffs?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe it is.
Yep, it is.
He didn't make it with Timberwolves because they traded him to get Jimmy, and then Jimmy made it that year, so he didn't make it then. So yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's his first time.
I think it's 7th year, 7 or 6th year, one of them.
Yeah, that's kind of alarming.
Ryan said this. Yep, we good. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Interesting.
So I got 2 statements I want to make. So one, the Chicago Bulls are, in my opinion, nothing but an older version of the Timberwolves because they take bad shots. DeMar DeRozan, he makes some shots now. Like game 2, the man was in his bag, but they take a lot of bad shots. Like it's kind of like winning that game is a matter of, like Scott says, make or miss lead. So when you run to a team like Milwaukee, who in my opinion takes nothing but good shots, I think Milwaukee, and this is part of this is I'm saying this because they have Coach Bud and the Grizzlies have Coach Jenkins. I think it's that sort of matchup where the Milwaukee Bucks should win every game. Literally, they should win every game because they take better shots. They have a more cohesive offense, a deeper team, and you got Giannis. But the Bulls, it should be over pretty quick. I have Bucks in 6, but I think the Bucks. I think when Chicago, like Trevor said, didn't come out and play well in game 3, lost by 30. Freaking Grayson Allen had 22 points. That's my guy. That's my man, 50 grand. But Giannis had 17 points. He played 29 minutes. And so that's just like, my team's better than yours. And I don't even think Lonzo. I love Lonzo. Lonzo ain't make no difference. Ain't nobody guarding Giannis. Ain't nobody. And then they ain't have Middleton. So it's like what was going on with Chicago? Y'all got 2 All-Stars. Really 3 All-Stars. With Vucevic, he can be one. He was one at one point. So for them to come out and lay eggs, it don't bode well for Chicago's chances. They ain't have a chance anyway, in my opinion. But yeah, give me Bucks in 5. It'd be out of here quick.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Great point. Like I said, Trevor, about the Zach LaVine, like his first go around, I would expect him to come out with a little bit more umph in him. But if you say it's truly though about him having an injury, I mean, I guess we can kind of put that into consideration as well.
Yep, right.
Taking bad shots and not playing defense. Yep, and that was the biggest thing, like coming into the whole season with the Bulls. Like
that's another team in the playoffs we'll get to soon.
So
right, that's another team in the playoffs.
Like who are the Bulls' interior defenders? Like that's their biggest thing. Like not only just the playoffs, but it's the whole season. I think the Bulls should have recognized that, through the trade deadline or through free agency. But the fact that they didn't look that way is kind of shows now. So
the Bulls should pay DeAndre Ayton. That's how I feel. They should pay DeAndre Ayton.
And to exactly what you just said, like the thing about Bulls is, so I can't be mad at his game. I just wish that he would have more of a presence in the post, which would then allow him to take and make more open jump shots. And because he doesn't do that, because he's not in the post as much, that's why it's much easier. Again, in the playoffs, it's easier to guard LaVine and DeRozan, especially when you don't have the Bulls are missing a point guard that can shoot. It's much easier to pack the paint at that point. And so I just wish that Vucevic would just, get a couple more shots at the rim than he does in each game.
Hey, Savage, let me find out we're gonna do manifesting a sign and trade for Ayton. Hey, boost to the Suns. Let me find out. But next series that should be over by next game, if not another game. Sixers and the Tampa. Are they in Tampa or they just stay in Toronto?
They're in Toronto.
They're back in Toronto.
They're back in Toronto. Oh, man, look, I'm clueless on that one. But yeah, should be over fairly quick after this game. But the next one, gentlemen, y'all thoughts?
We're creeping up on good night season for Mr. Doc Rivers. For Mr. James Harden, we're almost there. We're not quite there yet, fellas. We have about another week or two to go. But we're almost there. And to that point, I think actually Toronto wins the next game. Now, granted, Philly, it may be interesting because now there are reports out about Joel Embiid and how healthy he is, and so that's another thing to watch for as well. But I think Toronto wins his next game as long as Joel Embiid does not get even more hurt than he already is. Then I think this is a wrap in 5. But we've seen this story before, have we not?
Yep.
And so I wouldn't necessarily call this series over just yet. I'm still not seeing much from James Harden. Joel Embiid is, first of all, help that man. Somebody help that man, if nothing else. But Doc Rivers is going to make he's going to make his name known very, very soon. Mark my words. But yeah, I think this
series or the next.
Doc Rivers will make his name known at some point very, very soon. I promise you.
The great philosopher Stephen A. Smith said it best. Just wait. Just be patient. Just wait.
That's all. I'm not going to tell you when it is, but when it happens, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. When you start to see, you be like, God damn it, they go Doc Rivers. I want you to text me. I promise you, it's going to be very, very
I've learned everything I needed to know about Doc Rivers, bro. I can see. I've learned everything I need to know.
I will personally text you. I will personally text you if this series gets to 3-2. I will personally text you. And you know what?
Y'all saying 3-2.
This series will get to 3-2. I am calling it. This series will get to 3-2 going back to Toronto for game 6. I mean the injury to Embiid is it's alarming, but it's not that alarming. It's on his shooting hand and it's on his thumbs and it's not his knees. So that's somewhat of a bright side. I mean, he's still injured, but But again, to Skylar's point, somebody help this man because I'm not seeing much of anything from anybody. And hello, where's James Harden? Like, I haven't heard James Harden. I haven't heard James Harden name in so long. I'll be honest, I haven't heard James Harden name since Cade dropped 29 on him in the regular season game and he went disappearing. So that's a whole different story there. But yeah, I agree with Skylar. Doc Rivers is gonna show himself in some form of fashion.
It's been quiet, bro. He been quiet.
Yeah, I am going to say I'm booking it now. By the time we record, I'm thinking by the time we record next week, we'll be talking about game 6 between the Raptors and the Sixers.
Let me see real quick. Hold on. So game 4 is tonight, right? Yeah, game 4 is tonight.
Game 4 is tonight.
Game 5 is on Monday. Game 6 is on Thursday. And then game 7 Game 7 will be on Saturday. So
I hope to God we're wrong.
I hope so too.
Personally, I think that they're gonna sweep them. I think it's over with because
that's what I'm
Toronto get nobody that can guard Joel Embiid. And at this point, Joel Embiid, I mean, I think he okay. It's the next series when they play Miami. That's when I will enter the chat and be like, "So, Doc Rivers," because Actually, you know what, Ryan? That's my mistake because I don't call him Doc Rivers no more. I call him Glenn. You're right, Glenn Rivers. So Glenn, I will talk about Glenn more the next round when they play
series when they play in the Heat.
Mm-hmm. That's all I gotta say about the Sixers. I'm not impressed with anything. The Raptors are a young team. They led by Scotty Barnes and Fred VanVleet. It's a young team. They weren't ready for the playoffs anyway. So yeah, it's sweet. They get them out of here.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that Lito is because like I do expect it to be over by tonight. There's no answer for Embiid, and honestly, I think even without Embiid, I think the Sixers could pull one away. But that's just me. But that's y'all because my belief is that Glenn will turn into Doc Rivers next series against the Heat. We'll definitely talk about the Heat in just a second, literally. But I think next series, I don't see how the Sixers even win the game.
I can't wait for that.
That is when Glenn will turn up Doc for me. That's me. But y'all have studied Doc Rivers long enough for me to concede to y'all. So I'm just, I'm gonna fall back.
James Harden been ducking the Heat too because the two matchups they had, he hasn't played in.
Come on.
Oh, Jimmy Butler and James Harden.
Oh boy.
And then you got somebody to guard Embiid.
See, here's the thing. Doc Rivers ain't just gonna pull up. Like you gonna start to hear him. He's like that drunk uncle at the he's like, bro,
nephew.
Like, bro. And you trying to go all each way to like not hear him.
So right now we at the stage where he's just pulling up to the barbecue. He ain't started drinking yet.
Thank you, Trevor.
He just pulled up to the barbecue.
He just pulled up.
And you look over, you like, God damn.
He didn't come empty-handed. Came empty-handed yet again.
Yep, he came empty-handed too. You already know.
Nah, he ain't empty-handed. He got a brown paper bag, man. What you mean? And a black and mild in his ear. What you mean?
Black and mild in his ear. He got some crown that's in the brown paper bag. That's in the crown.
That's only for him.
That's only for him.
And to make it even funnier, James Harden is that girl that you be like, damn, why he bring her? Like that's
they go on with a sugar baby again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, bring her. All right, I'm done, y'all.
Bro, come on, man.
Mr. Clayton, you are on one today. I applaud you, sir. Thank you.
Oh man, y'all give me so many ideas. Well, I'll care. I got y'all. So let's get into this Heat and Atlanta series. Trae Young hit 4 seconds left to get the house one. So series 2-1, gentlemen. How y'all feeling about the Heat, man?
Impressive. I think for the most part, in my opinion, Miami played its typical ball, but Trae Young just kind of went off. And so I think that was impressive by him to lead his team to a win like that. So I think that did nothing but light a fire underneath Jimmy Butler and their Miami squad. So I think this is over in 5. I think they're probably pissed as crap that they didn't sweep them. So that's additional time off and rest for them as they get ready for the Bucks for in the next round. No,
the Sixers.
The Sixers. Yeah.
If the Sixers even
if don't show up. As if don't show up. But yeah, I think this is over. I'm just impressed with how well Miami plays defense. Y'all know I'm big on defense. I'm big on can you get stops when you need to get stops. And I think we've seen that for the most part in Miami. They're probably one of the better defensive teams in the playoffs, Eastern Conference and Western Conference. So I think they'll go ahead and finish this off in 5.
Yeah, this series is over in 5. Miami, like Scott said, is beating themselves up that they didn't take care of business in game 3. But it literally took Trae Young going off and hitting the game winner with like a few seconds left just to put them over the top. So you got to commend the Hawks there for getting the win in game 3. But yeah, it just lit a fire under Miami. I fully expect Miami to come out in game 4, possibly steal that one and wrap this one up in Miami in 5. And get ready for the next series against hopefully the 76ers. But yeah, this not much to say about Miami. We've been talking about Miami all season and how well they've been. So kudos to the Heat, kudos to the Hawks for getting this one last night, and we'll see where the series goes.
Yeah, Trae Young is the kind of player. He's good to get you one game in any series. I think he's that good to the point where he can do that. So yeah, I ain't worried about Miami. Miami, this is a team that's been established. Heat culture, it's a thing. Defense, yeah. Give me Miami in the next 2 games. I ain't worried about Miami.
I'm not worried about Miami. I am worried about my guy, top 10 Lowry, though. Him not being out, and we still saw Trae Young last year put a whole team on his back, and we saw what he can do. Even it is the Miami Heat. I think Kyle Lowry not playing will make an impact, of course, but I mean we'll see. I do expect the Heat to win for sure, so we can get that Sixers Heat series that we all want so bad. This may be a blessing in disguise for Lowry for him to sit a couple of games and wait till next series. So I mean, who knows? But again, I do have the Heat being Atlanta as well. And last but not least, Boston Nets. Series I didn't expect to be 2-0. I can honestly say, get my opinions in a sec. Hopefully, Savage our boy Ben come back in game 4. But gentlemen, how y'all feeling?
I think this is part of the series that I'm keeping a very, very close eye on. To your point, too, I'm a little surprised that it is 2-0. Especially like you just kind of knew that Brooklyn would have taken game 1 as well as Kyrie and KD played. But I can't remember who on the TNT crew said this, and I think it's valid. Like Kyrie and KD have to play that well consistently, in my opinion, to win games in the postseason. I'm not saying that they can't do that, but that's a huge ask for them. If they're now, granted, Ben Simmons is coming back sometime soon, so maybe that takes some of the load off them, especially KD defensively. But I think you got to see that. You got to see Kyrie and KD go like for 30, 35 plus, like consistently for them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and in the finals. And I just think that's a lot. So I'm happy that Ben Simmons is coming back. I definitely want to see what that's like. It's been a year since he's played, and so that'll be very interesting to see. But I think we go back to Boston, and it's tied 2-2. And from there. Man, I'm still going to go with Boston to win. I know Ben Simmons is coming back, and I keep talking about how bad Brooklyn is defensively. Now, granted, Ben Simmons is going to help them out a lot, but still, that's a lot that's a lot to ask of one man who hasn't played basketball competitively in a year. So to that point, I think Boston squeezes this out in 7, but wouldn't be surprised if Brooklyn won.
I'm not surprised that Boston's up 2-0 because, to Skylar's point, this is just too much of a tall task for Kyrie and KD. You're asking for both of these guys to play 40-plus minutes every single night, put up 30-plus every single night, and guard, and try to play some form of defense to will themselves to a win. I've watched this Nets team, and this is literally the 2016 Thunder all over again. Like, they're not stopping anybody. Boston is doing a great job on defense, and I just can't see how Brooklyn pulls this out. Brooklyn will maybe get 2. I'll definitely give them 2. I think it go back to Boston 2-2 as well, but I think Boston wins in 6. It's just too tall. It's just too tall of a task. I don't think Ben Simmons is going to make that much of a difference. It'll make a difference defensively, but on the side where we really need him to make a difference, which is the offensive side of the ball, now you have a guy. So where are you sticking Ben Simmons? How are you going to utilize Ben Simmons? You can't utilize him the way you're utilizing Bruce Brown. So now what are you going to do with Ben Simmons? Are you sticking him in the corner? We know he can't shoot. So is he initiating the offense? So what's going to, like, the question is still going to remain there. I mean, I'm excited to see Simmons out there because, again, it's cool, but I just can't see it. I'm not surprised Boston's up 2-0. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston won this in 5, but I'm gonna be nice and give Brooklyn 2 games, and I think Boston takes it in 6.
I had Nets in 7, so I'm not as surprised that Boston is up 2-0. I mean, it could have been 1-1. It could have been the other way completely. Yeah, them playing 40 minutes a game, that's not ideal in the playoffs because at some point you're going to burn out. You're not going to have any legs. And I don't even know if KD has legs right now because, like, he has not had a good game. But somehow they have managed to have been close in those 2 games. So I think that the rest in between game 2 and game 3 is going to help KD. And just being at home is going to help them. So I do expect them to be back in Boston for game 5, 2-2. At some point, Kevin Durant going to have a good game. And to the point where you literally can't stop him no matter how many hands you got in his face. Kyrie has been unstoppable in general. But I do want to give, I know we haven't got to the Flowers segment yet, but I want to give flowers to Ime Udoka, like as a coach, because he wasn't a coach of the year candidate, but he turned this mug around from October to now. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen Tatum, and I love Tatum. I haven't seen play this kind of defense ever. Ever. Like he is on KD, like not letting him go by, not letting him get easy shots. Yeah, Tatum looks good. Brown, obviously. Marcus Smart's DPOY, debatable. And then they're getting back. Time Lord in I think game 4. They said game 4, game 5, one of them. So yeah, Boston. This is a good team. So I think it can go either way, which is why I said Nets in 7. That basically means any team can win. So I won't be surprised if Boston or Brooklyn wins. But I had Brooklyn for the simple fact that I think Kevin Durant at some point is going to be Kevin Durant. Like this is how it is. As far as Ben Simmons, I don't expect much from him in terms of like offensively, obviously, but I need him to like just be like a cutter to the basket, like get some dunks, passing, playing defense, just kind of fit in to the role of like a role player that has the capability of I can score when I need to, at least in the post area to where you're spacing out KD and Kyrie. I'm curious to see what Steve Nash does because I'm not a big fan right now of Steve Nash, and I know I love Steve Nash, but right now I'm like, what you doing, man? What's going on? So,
but you know who else, you know who else gets cuts to the basket and gets easy layups? Sharky's boy, Cap's boy, Bruce Brown. So, so where does that leave Ben Simmons? That's the question that remains to be answered. But we'll see.
And honestly, I don't see how he can play long minutes because he is not in basketball shape. He can't be. He hasn't played like you said competitive basketball in like a year. So it's like you can't play 30 minutes in crucial playoff time. You gotta get like 18, 20 minutes. Like that's it. So. But I don't think it'll be a big factor in this series. So they're going to need KD and Kyrie to just be them, essentially. So
that's literally perfect timing in saying that because what I think when Ben Simmons does come, he don't have to score, but I think they could use an initiator. They could use somebody to help set up, somebody other than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which, they're going to get their shots regardless. But as far as Ben Simmons coming and playing 20 minutes a game, I think him, defensively, maybe on a Jaylen Brown or maybe on a Tatum, I think that could be effective, for those 20 games in order for them to win a game, for whatever he continues to play in. I do got Brooklyn winning in 7. I do got Kevin Durant scoring 40 points tonight. And I do got the Brooklyn Nets winning this game. Kevin Durant's the best player in the league. And huge kudos, shout out to Ime Udoka, who actually, I think he was on the Warriors staff, I think, to get on the Warriors staff to get an insight of how Kevin Durant's plays. So that's what we're seeing, Jason Tatum being able to be effective on defense, or the whole team, really. But I think, even though Kevin Durant didn't have a great game, even though Kyrie Irving only hit 4 shots last game, they still only lost by 7. So they finna get some home cooking. Kevin Durant's going to put up 40. They're going to get the dub. And game 4, we're going to see finally Ben Simmons. Hopefully, we'll see Ben Simmons play at least 15, 20 minutes. And those minutes will be effective. That's me just preaching my basketball talk. I can be completely wrong. But y'all know how I feel about this basketball talk. So, I got the Nets in 7. What you clapping for, bro?
I'm going to give you flowers. I know that's a segment coming up later. But you made valid points regarding the Brooklyn Nets without trolling once.
When have I ever trolled? I've been saying the same thing all season.
Okay.
When have I trolled? I mean, not since all season, but since they got Ben Simmons. When have I ever trolled?
Okay. That's a troll within yourself. When you asking when have I trolled, that's a troll.
Wow.
All right.
Correction.
You know what? Let me take the flowers. I'm gonna take
correction. Udoka was on Brooklyn staff last year, so that's
Brooklyn
what
staff.
Okay.
He was. But he still with Kevin Durant, so he know. Yeah, he know.
You know what's up now. Let's hopefully everything I just said will manifest. We get a 7-game series because it's looking like a real good one. Celtics were number 2 team for a reason, and they showing us. So huge shout out to Udoka for doing his thing. And I believe that is everything. Any more thoughts about the playoffs, gentlemen?
This has been a great playoffs overall. I just want to say that.
Great. Let's get a word from our sponsor.
Let's Be Real Media is pleased to announce we are sponsored by Ralph Brand. Ralph culture is surrounded by skates, punk, and hip-hop art. We are looking forward to co-designing materials for this journey with them. Please visit ralphbrand.com for purchasing merch now and for future collaborations with Let's Be Real Media.
All right, let's get into a little bit of NFL talk, man. Apparently, there's a guy by the name of Deebo Samuel. Not sure if y'all familiar with him. He's just one of the best wide receivers, one of the best yard after catches receivers. I think he is statistically. Requesting a trade from San Francisco. I think that came out of nowhere. Gentlemen, what's your thoughts of it, and where do you see him going? Let's go, Savage, Trev, and Lito.
I mean, I would love him to come to Philadelphia. I mean, hey, but I'm actually kind of shocked that he's demanding a trade. I know he was saying that he doesn't want to be a wide back. It sounds weird to me, a wide back anymore for Kyle Shanahan's offense. But I feel like that's where he thrived best. Because I mean, I didn't hear about Deebo Samuel until he became a wide back. To be honest, I mean, I remember when he came out of the draft. But I mean, once he got utilized in that role, he became a Pro Bowler. So I don't know if he's going to be able to be like a true top 10-ish number one receiver as a pure receiver. So to that end, I'm kind of skeptical about, making him, paying him top receiver money. I don't know about that. But I mean, I will take him because I mean, y'all know who we get on our team that I don't want on the team anymore. So if I'm like Philadelphia, if I'm like Green Bay, any team that needs a receiver that's good enough, I would say go get Deebo Samuel. And yeah, I mean, Philly, do what you gotta do.
Man, this is deja vu for me, man. This is Le'Veon Bell all over again. When you really just look at it, Deebo out here trying to get this wide receiver money, but to Savage's point, he was best worked as a wide back, similar to what made Le'Veon great in Pittsburgh. This came out of nowhere for me as well, as far as Deebo Samuel requesting the trade. I do think he's worth a little bit more than what the running backs are getting, but I don't think he's worth wide receiver money. There have been reports that he is waiting on a certain quarterback to make himself available, and he wants to possibly go play with him. So if I had to name a team, I'm going to go with two Carolina Panthers. Because I really think that.
And what quarterback he waiting on?
Baker Mayfield.
You know what though?
I've been on the Baker and Carolina.
Baker is a good quarterback for Deebo Samuel because Deebo is not a deep threat. He's a cross route player. Get the ball in space, go. I actually like this.
Hold on, conspiracy too, and Clairvoyant Trevor, because Christian McCaffrey is from that area, and I would love for us to just Christian McCaffrey. I honestly love to throw the producers up Christian McCaffrey. So,
wow, okay,
we're gonna hold it right there.
Yeah, so the reports are being reported that he is waiting on whatever happens with Baker Mayfield, and he's looking to possibly team up with Baker Mayfield. And I do think if Baker is, from the most part, it looks like he's probably going to be released. I think Baker signs in Carolina and Deebo Samuel follows.
I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued.
I'm hella intrigued.
DJ Moore and freaking sheesh.
And that's my thing. Like, we just paid DJ Moore as well, and the money wise, we just got to make the money. But we do have an owner who just got a bag.
Y'all got a young defense too. Stay woke. Y'all got a young defense.
We got a real young good defense. Top 10 defense. We got a top 10 defense, and they still young and was missing J.C. Horn last season. That's just me.
You got some movable pieces too to make something work.
Come on, dog. And we got an owner that's trying to, like, the owner don't want to lose, bro. That's what I like about it. He gonna do some crazy stuff to win, but the fact that he's willing to do that is a front office that we ain't had ever. So I'm intrigued. I like it. Lito. I know that was a lot for you to process, but we just saying, bro. Just saying.
The news of Deebo Samuel wanting out of San Francisco is surprising to what I think Trevor just said. I think Kyle Shanahan's ability to get him, get Deebo the ball in many, different facets of the game has been impressive. And I think that's why Deebo, part he wants more money. But at the same time, I could understand from his perspective why I don't want to be used as a wide back, because at the end of the day, that's more tackles than a wide receiver is normally taking, which then results in you don't having as much of a shelf life, if you ask me. So I can understand him wanting to be used more as a wide receiver actually makes sense. And so I get it. But then at the same time, like, kind of think about, I got deep. Well, I don't want to make it just seem like Kyle Shanahan made Deebo Samuel, but to what Savage said, like it wasn't until the ways that Kyle Shanahan was using Deebo Samuel, he got the name Deebo Samuel. I think if you're Carolina, you do all you can to go after Deebo Samuel. I will say that. If you whatever quarterback you want to put to throw him the ball, then you do that. But I think I did hear recently that he preferred to be closer to home, and so therefore that would make it Carolina. So I'm cool with him going there. I don't care where he goes, honestly. One, we know he's not going to Green Bay. Green Bay ain't about their life. I would just hope and pray to God that Baltimore don't pick up the phone and try to call him, because then I'm just gonna be pissed. Then you looking at Lamar Jackson and Deebo Samuel. I don't want to deal with that.
We got enough issues already.
Enough issues as it is already.
We got enough issues already.
And the other teams I don't want to call, pick up the phone and go get them is Kansas City. Those two teams. If you don't go to those two teams, then I'm happy for them. I'm great. I'm good. I can keep on moving. But damn it, if one of those two call, then I'm gonna be mad as crap. So Carolina for me. It's where I'm hoping he goes.
Shit, I hope he come to Carolina too. Y'all just got me. I didn't expect that at all. So I mean, I appreciate the love, y'all, for real. If that's something that Carolina David Tepper can make happen, we'll love to have it, because Coach Rule is he's probably we talk about the hot seat. He burning hell hot right now. So this move will not only save his job, that we got him on a 7-year contract, but it will make our future look a lot brighter. And like I said, we do have a young defense for sure. A young, good defense, like I said, top 10 defense. But I think that if he wants to get paid like he wants to get paid, there are only certain teams that do have the draft capital and the money to make that happen. And the team that we hadn't said yet would be the Jets. I know he'd like to be closer to home, but the fact that they got a first-round pick in Zach Wilson and not another receiver to average over 550 yards, I think that's a move that you also got to look at as well. I think if I had to pick a team, that'll be my team as well. That'll be my team. Like I said, they need somebody for their young first-round pick to throw to. They don't have anybody. So
Deebo, 1 year in New York, Deebo gonna be asking for another trade.
But that's you can't ask for that the amount of money you asking for too, though, Trev. That's what I'm saying. Like, just putting everything together, like he's asking to be one of the highest paid players in the league. You know what I'm saying? So it's only a few teams. Then the draft is like literally next week. So it's like who? Yeah.
Actually, no, the draft is this week.
This week. I'm sorry, this week. This Thursday. You're right. This Thursday. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people say the Jets, for sure. That's how I feel. But that, like I said, if you think about who got the money and the draft capital, that's one team that I wouldn't just throw under the bus like that. I mean, not under the bus.
If I'm a team, I have to already have a wide receiver one, which the Panthers have in DJ Moore. Like, y'all already have it. Then, and that at that point, I'm cool. I'm definitely cool with that. If you a team like the Jets, Corey Davis is a wide receiver too. He's not. He might be a 3. We don't know. But like, if you have a wide receiver 2 or 3, you don't need to trade for Deebo Samuel, because Deebo is a system receiver. He's not somebody that can just fit in any type of role. Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1. Hopkins, wide receiver 1. I don't know about Cooper Kupp. I'm like, I'm not really sure, but he's best in the system right now. So like, I'm not trading most first round picks unless I already have one, which the Panthers do have in DJ Moore. So if I'm y'all, y'all have what, pick 6, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, they have the 6th pick in the draft.
Yeah, and y'all don't really have like a super like high need, like aside from maybe another cornerback. But I mean,
offensive line,
Skylar Grace,
the quarterback.
Yeah, they need a QB.
Yeah,
but this year though, it's not a good draft. I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but you know,
it's not that great of a draft for QB. That's why I honestly think Baker and Deebo in Carolina makes sense. It just
I agree.
As long as we can get some protection for him, that'll be perfect.
Look,
that's my thing. We got to get some. Though we had one of the worst offensive lines last season.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
might be a need, but even with that, do you really want to use the 6th overall pick on an offensive lineman that you can probably get later?
Yeah. I think they got in the kid from Alabama, and people got like all pro like status on him like immediately coming out of college.
It's about like 5 or 6 tackles that's coming out of like in top 10, I think.
Top 10.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, and I would honestly love to use one, especially right now. Especially with us still don't need a quarterback. I like for us to be able to protect the quarterback in order for instead of us just wasting one on a pick that may or may not pan out. So that's just my thing on that.
Yeah. I ain't looked at a mock draft, so hey, it is what it is. So
everybody got us taking either Willis or Pickett, and I don't like it.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing with us at 20. So
all right, so let's end the show, of course, with some good old flowers. I actually got one, but I think Savage, you said you have one.
No, I have.
Oh, Lito got one.
I'll make mine quick. I think Penny Hardaway deserves some flowers.
Absolutely.
Yet again, people question what he's doing with his roster, what he's doing with this program. When players come and go, we heard the same thing when Lester left, when Durham left, when DeAndre left, when Alo left, and Tyler left. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, what is he gonna do? Then he turns around and signs the number one player in the transfer portal in Kendrick Davis, and there's more to come. So I think at the end of the day, like, people have to really just get off my man back, bro. Like, let him coach. Let him get his program the way he wants it. So I think he deserves flowers for being able to go get a recruit just like that. I wouldn't say it's the best recruit or a transfer he got, but damn it, it's to go get a player of Kendrick Davis's caliber, who, like I said, was the number one guy in the transfer portal, to get him to come to Memphis over Duke, over Kansas, I think was on the list, over Texas Tech, who I think was also on the list. Like, that's big time. So I wish people would just kind of, again, chill, relax, let him do what he's going to do, and then let's roll the ball out for the next season.
Penny Hardaway has never had a pure point guard. Has never. He's been here for how long? And he's won like 20 games per season in like 4 or 5 years, and he's never had a point guard. And y'all know me. I said this for the longest. Point guard play is the most important position in college basketball. You got to have good point guard play to win NCAA tournament games. And Penny got the best one in the transfer portal. Kendrick Davis.
And it's one that he's seen for the last couple of years too. I mean, he's whooped ass for the last couple of years, and for him to say, I want to come to the University of Memphis and be coached by one of the best point guards, it's why Penny is there. It's why when Penny got on the stand and cussed out Jeff Calkins or whoever he cussed out, no issue for me. You just showing your true colors, which we love, and which are going to continue to attract players to be themselves, one, and for two, ball out. And the fact that Ja Morant and Desmond Bane reached out to him as well is kind of, it ain't no kind of, it's pretty damn.
No other city is doing that. No other city in America is doing that. Where the pro team is recruiting for the college team. That doesn't happen anywhere else, y'all. Anywhere. I've never heard of it anywhere else.
Yeah, to Tuke's point, that was my section for flowers. I was going to give them to Ja Morant and Desmond Bane for that exact reason, for reaching out and aiding Penny and getting Kendrick Davis to come to Memphis. So there you go.
And my flowers actually would consist of Ja Morant as well, but I want to give a huge kudos. We make a big thing about players under 25. So I actually made like a little list of the top 25 players that are doing, not 25, the top players under 25 doing their things in the playoffs right now. Ja Morant, of course, on that list, I ain't got to say a damn thing. If you from Memphis, you know damn well what's going on. I ain't got to say a word. Just the Memphis ain't it. I'm happy they got rid of that slogan because, we brought a couple players up early in the pod. Jalen Brunson averaging 32 points, just out of nowhere against a Jazz team that's supposed to be doing a lot better than what they're supposed to be doing. Huge salute to him. Jason Tatum averaging 25, doing his thing defensively against KD and averaging 9 assists. Who would have known? 9 assists. I have to give a double take on that one.
Crazy.
So, Jason Tatum's definitely doing his thing. Trae Young, we saw what he did last night for sure, even though the Hawks will for sure be out in the first round. We saw what he did last night and last year. Definitely using the moment to take advantage of and, doing his thing as the baller that he is. And, of course, Savage's guy, DeAndre Ayton, put up 28-17 last night, but is averaging 20-12 in this series. Will be asked to step up while Devin Booker's out, and I'm pretty sure he's going to answer the call. Of course, honorable mention, Brandon Ingram averaging 30 points a game, and my guy Jordan Poole averaging 29 a game. So just wanted to give the flowers out to those guys who are doing their thing under 25. Like, growing up, like, who would have thought we have young players balling out over the overheads, but young guys are taking the advantage of the moment. So I'll ask that they keep doing it.
Folks say LeBron not in the playoffs, bet. Let me go ahead.
That's it for me. That's it for this episode. Make sure y'all continue to follow us on Twitter, LBR Media. Follow me at Tev Shakir, your guy.
I'm at _Skylead on Twitter. Nothing's changed.
Ain't nothing changed. I'm at the Auto Trevor. That's my starting 5 stick. So
follow me at msavage901. The Savage Show will be coming soon.
Bang, bang.
Savage, hey, welcome back, brother. Don't be a stranger, Kyrie.
Right?
Don't be a stranger, Kyrie. That's funny.
All right, y'all. To the next episode. Cap, get well. Hopefully, we on next episode. Until then, y'all have a great week. Enjoy watching some NBA basketball.
We in Minnesota now.
We in Minnesota now. Still.